Hello everybody, this is Rebecca Jane from yogawithrebeccajane.com. Welcome to this 30-minute practice. I do teach live classes, so if interested, please go to my website and you could sign up for my 30-minute classes. So this practice we'll be doing a kind of like a Shakti class, not kind of, a Shakti class, where if you're not familiar with the word, I think most of my students are, but we're going to be doing a lot of spinal waves, very, forward and backwards, side to side, kind of getting into the lubricating our spines, but also some shoulder work. I mean, you get everywhere by the time you're done with this class. We're going to also, so there'll be a lot of sways and movement and kind of dance playfulness. So it's a playful class. And I think what's important is that you don't have to feel like you have to just follow me. You let you get into your own groove, and that's the important part. It's not, because my groove might be different from yours. Any kind of issues with wrists, because we're going to be on our hands and knees for a good portion of the class. Get on your forearms. When we go forward from our child's into our upward facing dog, we're going to kind of do that that spinal wave on our knees. Don't go all the way to the upward facing dog, just let yourself stay, just come up to all fours. So there's variations, or you do it on your forearms, okay? I have my blocks here because you might need it for when we do our half split lunge flow. Some of us can't get our feet to the ground, so you might want blocks, but also we're going to do a tree pose, and I'm going to do my tree pose standing on the block. And that's, again, another option, or you just do everything on the ground. Just changing things up, having some fun, not taking things so serious. So I'm going to actually come onto my hands and knees and sit on a block. So even doing things different in our yoga classes, not always sitting in a cross-legged seat at the start of class, sitting on our heels is nice to change things up a little bit. So hands on thighs, but you can do either or. Let's let the eyes gently close. And with this, I want you to begin to take some deep breaths in and out. So coming into the child self. So turning inward back into your child self. And if it's so far away since you've been a child, which many of us that's the case, and you can't really recall being a child, think of children that you see, or your own children, or your own grandchildren, or just children in the neighborhood, nieces, nephews, and become one of those. They lack inhibitions, they laugh much more than adults. Adults become way too serious too quick. So let's deepen the breath, inhaling, feeling the expansion of the rib cage, and exhaling, drawing in that rib cage, a little bit of a pulling of the tummy. Children, according to a study that was done many, many years ago, laugh about 350 times a day. Adults, I think it was 15. Who knows what it is now? Let's take one more deep breath in and let the eyes gently open. And stay where you are. We're just going to open the arms. We're going to pretend our arms are going to be soft, just like a dancer's arms, and reach back. And as you do so, I want you to arch the back, come into that cow stretch, and then bring the arms towards each other around the spine. And let's do this a few more times, opening up. You might find, oh, my arms cannot do this for too long. Then just simply place the hands on the thighs. So every time I do this movement, I always feel like I'm making pizza bread or something, or bread, even though I don't make bread, pizza dough. But just, I would, this is how I would look. You're bringing the hands together and you're pulling at the dough. You can even get those fingers involved, working those fingers. So you're not just working on the arms, but you're into the shoulders, into the chest, into the tummies, into the backs. One more time, open up the arms, pause, and let the hands come back to your thighs. And take a deep breath in, and just feeling into those arms. And then just do some sways from side to side. So start to take your spine in in the lateral direction, and you can bring your shoulders up and down. And then we're going to bring the arms out to the sides and do the same thing. So we're going from side to side, like an airplane. Do you remember as a child or watching children when they're pretending they're planes? And then we're going to do this. And then bring the hands back to your thighs. Take an inhale. And then an exhale. Then inhale, shoulders up towards your ears and roll the shoulders back and down. Do this 2 more times. Inhale, lift all shoulders to your ears and roll them back and down. 1 more time. Inhale, lift up and down. And then take your head, bring your chin to your chest, and just roll the head to the right and then to the left. Come through only half circles here. So you're bringing chin back to chest, and then to the right, and then chin to chest, and then to the left. One more time, and then lift your head up and then chin towards the ceiling. Roll it over to the right, then to the left, to the right, through center, to the left. And then bring your head back up so that you're facing forward and look over your right shoulder. Come back to center, look over your left. So we're lubricating our joints, our neck. We're going to smile. We're going to work on these jaws, which become very, very stiff with stress and worry, and then come back to neutral. Head facing forward. Take a deep breath in. And then as you breathe out, I want you to lean forward. We're going to Sufi circle around to the right. So start to now circle around. We did side to side, forward and back. And now we're circling. Make this your own. When you're trying to follow someone's identical movements and they're not yours at all, then you become very stiff. And it's not fun. Stiff, it feels like, it's not me. Let's reverse those circles. So the week of playfulness. And then coming back to center. Let's sit up tall, take a deep breath in, reach arms up to the sky. Bring the hands up so the palms are facing forward. Place your right left palm on top of your right. Just place palms on top of each other with the palms facing forward. Take an inhale, and then just a gentle stretch backwards as if you're getting ready to dive into a pool. And then lift back up and then just switch the palms and then press into those hands and then stretch up and then release the hands down. Just circle the wrists all the way down. Keep going, keep going, keep going. And then let's reverse those circles. This time circling up. Gentle, gentle circles. And then coming onto your hands and knees. Once on your hands and knees, press back into a child's pose. Start to get into the spinal waves from side to side. And we'll begin with lifting up to all fours and then just pressing back to child's. Very basic rocking forward and backwards. Either forearms or on your hands, depending on your arms and wrists. And just coming back and forth. So I'll do the variation with on the forearms, same thing, just different. And then coming back up. And the next time we sit back into child's pose, take an inhale, float through cow, come forward, all the way forward, lifting up through the chest, and then exhale, press back through into child's pose. So you're coming through cat. If you want to do forearm version, you do this, and you're actually coming into your Sphinx pose. So just you play here. This is about playing. Let's take one more forward, pausing in Sphinx. So come onto those forearms, everyone, and then let's just press into the tops of the feet, take an inhale, and exhale, let the chest slide forward. Opening up the chest, feeling the power of this pose. If you want a little extra, pick your elbows off the ground, just a few centimeters, and lift chest forward, slide the shoulders down. And then lower yourself down to the ground. Slide your hands underneath your shoulders. Lift all the way up. Come on, sitting on your heels. That's meat on your heels, sitting up tall. Take an inhale. Lift all the way up off of those heels. Reach arms up to the sky. Feel free to take the hands and place them on top of one another, just like we did before. A little bit of a leaning backwards. Then I want you to actually dive into that imaginary pool. And then you can slither forward through cow. Exhale, press through cat. And then lift back up, roll up, ragdoll roll. Reach arms up, change the cross of the hands. And then lean back, take an inhale, and even if you don't remember, just see. We have a go-to. That's automatic, and so it's the opposite. Dive down and then come through cow. And then exhale, cat. And then slide up. Let's do this just another few times. Lift up, palms facing each other. You're going to do your dive into the pool. Take an inhale and exhale, dive down. Slither forward, breathe in. And then press back. One more time, lifting up. And this time sit down on your heels, hands on thighs. Take an inhale and an exhale. Breathing deeply. slide forward, coming onto all fours. Let's do some hula hoop circles. So just concentrating on your hips. Oh, I know okay, just remember something. And then let's reverse those circles. So I am a great lover of hip circles, figure eights, anything hip-wise. I've always loved it. Even as a kid, I remember standing in front of the mirror and practicing. Coming back to stillness, curl toes under, take an inhale and exhale, press up, downward facing dog. Wrist issue people might come onto their forearms and do their dolphins. Take a bend and straightening of the legs from side to side. So get the knees and the feet and the heels pressing down and lifting up. And then you can incorporate the rest of the body. And you can look underneath your arms as you sway from side to side. And then gently coming back to stillness. Take a deep breath in and walk to your front of the mat. Open the feet wider than your hips and take your opposite hand, opposite elbow. Knees are soft or bent here. Actually, bend those knees. And let's do some figure eights with those. So you have an imaginary spoon between your arms and you're stirring that pot. So you're getting into your hip joints, your back, your shoulders. And then release the hands to the ground. Take a deep breath in and just come up halfway. Place your hands on your thighs. So you're in a squat. I'm going to just straighten my legs for a moment. You might want to also. And then bend those knees. Yeah, let's straighten them first. Come into that squat with the hands on the thighs, thumbs inward. I want to show you the side version of this. And now we're going to do cats and cows here. So your back is nice and flat, you're arching, and then you're going to round the spine. As you do this, you're pushing into those thighs, and then you're arching, and then you're pushing into those thighs, rounding, and keep going back and forth. Knee issue people, well, everybody has to make sure they're on the heels, not on the toes. So you're not leaning forward, you're on your heels. But if that's too much, to come up higher. Everybody's different, and this is not supposed to be this big serious thing, yoga. One more time, arch. The next time you arch the back, take an inhale, then exhale, round the spine, but this time lift all the way up to standing. Reach arms up to the sky. I'm going to turn and look at you. Bring your hands next to your sides. You can the feet could be wider than your hips, and we're going to do some figure eights with those hips. So feel free to have the hands on the hips or let the arms just hang next to the sides. So as you can see or feel, you probably can't see, I can see me, is ankles are working, the knees, the hips, the back, the shoulders, everything is getting a little bit of a lubrication, a flossing, I suppose you could call it a flossing. And then we're going to come back to center, and this time we're going to just circle the hips around. And then we're going to do the other direction. So now it's just these are hula hoop circles, they're not the figure eights. And then you're going to come back to center, you're going to lift your right hip up, and then left hip up, right hip up, left hip up, right hip, and then come back to stillness. Let's do figure eights again. So if you find this difficult to do figure eights, keep practicing until it becomes a natural. It's organic. And then come back to our hula hoop circle. So now you have a hula hoop around your waist and you're circling. Let's circle in the other direction. And then take your right hip lift up, left hip up, right hip up, left hip up. And then come back to neutral. If you've moved, come back to the front of the mat. Reach arms up to the sky. Lean back again and dive down. Place the hands on the ground, step right foot back. Lower right knee down. So you're in your low lunge. Fingers are framing that left foot. If you need blocks, take your blocks. And then fold over your left leg. Take your heel, press it into the ground, and then re-bend your left knee. And we're going to go back and forth. So as you're doing this, let's also incorporate the spine, arching the back as you lean into your lunge, and as you fold over your leg, create that cat stretch. So arching, folding, arching, folding. And then one time, let's come back into your lunge. Pause here for a moment. Come up nice and high, and let's take the arms and just circle them back. If your knee is sensitive, make sure you have something underneath your knees. Just let the wrists follow, be very gentle. Place the hands on the ground and then step that left knee back and right foot forward, coming into the low lunge on this side. So you're in your low lunge, right knee forward, left leg back, and you're going to fold over that right leg, coming into half split. And then bend, and then straighten. And once you get into the groove, get into the rhythm, start to create that spinal wave. One more time, and then we meet in our low lunge, and this time come up tall and circle the arms backward. Yeah, backward. The opposite of what we just did. I think I went forward first, but if we didn't, we go forward. You know what? At the end of the day, it does not matter. You can alternate if you'd like. Make this yours. And then lower the hands to the ground. Step left foot forward. Come to the front of your mat. Come into a forward bend. Breathe in. Stretch out those legs. And then gently lift yourself up all the way up to standing. Now, this is we're going to do our tree pose, and I'm going to use my blocks. You don't need to use your blocks, or you can try them and say, I don't like them, and then take them away, or try them and say, I like them, and keep them. So we're going to start with our right leg being the standing leg. First, let the left leg hang for a moment, and then bring that left foot inside your right thigh, or on the outer edge of that right foot. Some of us, this might be too much on a block. They don't feel safe. Put a finger on the wall, come off of the block, hands to heart, and then arms reach. Now I happen to like the block because I'm pretty strong in my tree pose. If you're not strong on the ground, then this is not obviously the best thing for you, to be on something. So I'm okay, I feel pretty secure, I think, until I come to the other side. Bring your hands back down, lower that left foot down off the block, and then do some figure eights. Just loosen up those ankles. And then we're going to come to the other side. Left foot is your standing foot. Let that right foot just hang for a moment, touch the ground, and then place it either inside that. You can actually, which I did neglected to say, you can place the foot inside the left ankle on the block as well, if you don't feel secure. The block just adds a different surface for the ankle to work with. Because it's spongy, if you're on a spongy block, it forces the leg to work a little differently than on a hard surface. Arms reach up, so it's adding a little extra to your brain, to your muscles. Why not try different things? It makes things a little bit more exciting. And then lower that right foot down. Do some figure eights. Do some hula hoop circles. And then move your blocks. Let's come onto our bottoms and ease ourselves onto our backs. Reach arms and legs away. Every Shakti class I end up feeling definitely much lighter. Hug your knees into your chest. Place your left foot on the ground, cross your right leg over your left, lift your legs up, and if you'd like, you can take your right foot and tuck it behind your left. That's only an option. Some people can't do that, or it's not available to them. Let your knees drop to the left here. Open the arms out to the sides, turning gaze to the right. And breathe. Allow the eyes to gently close. And then lift the knees back up and cross those legs. Give yourself a hug. Smile. This is fun. This is not serious stuff. Left leg over right. And then if you want to tuck that left foot behind, then do so, and let the knees drop over to the right. So the tucking, if you can't do it, then don't. But if you can, it's a nice stretch for the ankles and the tops of the feet. These pretzel shapes actually send little messages to our brain that we're having fun, because only time you're doing a pretzel shape is if you're doing something enjoyable. You don't sit in a pretzel normally. And then bring your knees back up, uncross those legs, give yourself a hug, and extend the legs. Or for today, you might want to place the soles of the feet together. Let yourself be in Baddha Konasana. Or what I'm doing is I'm going to knock my knees together, open the knees wide in broken bridge in my Shavasana. So any Shavasana that works for you. And you just stay where you were for another few minutes as I come up to seal the practice for this day, for this moment in time. So reminding yourself that life does not have to be serious all the time. And that to have fun doesn't mean it's only allotted to the weekends or to certain times of the year, or vacations or holidays, that it can be, it should be, needs to be a daily thing, multiple times a day, finding joy and fun in the mundane things, the domestic chores, if you're working, the work you're doing, and the things you read, the things you look on social media or the news. The news might not be fun. Most of it isn't. So if you keep putting yourself in situations when they're too serious all the time, you become that. And as I bring my hands in front of my heart to seal this practice, thank you so much. If you enjoy these classes, thumbs up, subscribe. Live classes, go to my website, yogawithrebeccajane.com. Have a wonderful day. Namaste.